Hey guys, looks like I'm live and the purple is showing in the background. Let's get this all squared away here. So, I run a professional thing here. Actually not. Okay, so I thought I would do a post about building muscle and whatever you guys want to know on keto. All the stuff that I've learned throughout the years, we're going to go over it. Because I've learned a lot. I've got, I don't know, like 50 notepads on all the consultations that I've done. Hello, Melly Mel. Okay. So I'm waiting for everybody to chime in to the broadcast. What's up? Aaron and hey, everybody's coming in real fast. Hey guys. So I thought I would talk about, building some muscle on keto and getting super fit. Hello, I'll take your questions in a sec, guys. What up? Everybody's coming into the broadcast, and this will be recorded for the World Wide Web, so I know you guys are just waiting for me to start yakking about the benefits of keto and how to get super fit. I hope it's not pixelated because it's been Wi-Fi and people coming home from work and LA traffic. Hey guys, hey Rob. Hey Kathy, what's up? With just a 4-pack? No, they gotta have a 10-pack. They gotta have a 12-pack. Okay, I'm gonna start talking a little bit about how I got fit on keto and how you guys can as well. Business is all right there, right? This is the business. What's up, everyone? Thank you, Royal Family, for acknowledging that I am taking the time out to do these live broadcasts and to explain some things and clear up the madness and the bullshit on the internet. Your cats are here now? Okay. So I want to talk to you guys about my journey. You quote me all the time. You're super excited. Yay! Okay. And Tess, you're listening. Yes, I'm living proof. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go and talk a little bit about how I became super fit, the level of health I had before I did keto, and the level of health I have now. A lot of you guys ask for before and after pictures. You don't have to clean up your organs before you start keto. You can do it all at the same time. You just have to work very hard. But I'm going to take these questions in a second. Maybe 15 a month. Yay! Okay, guys, so the reason why I'm this fit is that I've always been an athlete. So I've never had the school of thought, and I hear a lot of people in my age group that say, oh, I can't do this anymore because I'm too old, for example. And I really can't stand to hear that, and then I have to say my age, and then they go, oh. So, for example, there was a guy today who was saying he was too old. He's like, oh, aren't you the girl that does handstands? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I'm too old for that. And I was like, how old are you? And then he said he was 37. I was like, bro, I know I was not born yesterday, but I was not born yesterday. I'm like, bro, you are not 37. And there's something I can't stand about people in their 40s and 50s saying they're in their 30s. They're not. So I was like, he's like, I'm 37. I was like, just say the year that you're, I don't even know you. So just tell me how old you are. He's like, I'm 52. And I go, well, I'm 50. And he's like, oh. And I was like, yes. So when you say you can't do handstands because you're getting too old, if you think it, you manifest it, and then it becomes your own reality. See, I don't have that gene where I'm too old for something. I don't have that gene. Now, I used to be a professional skateboarder, and then when I went through all of these knee surgeries at 26, I couldn't do things, not because I was old at 26, because I had destroyed my knee. So I had to go and find other ways to be super active. And that's how I found the gym. Because you couldn't get my ass into a gym before I felt it was filled with knucklehead meatheads. So, Yes, I'm going to go into keto, but I want to talk about getting super fit. I'm going to talk for 5 minutes, and I'm going to take your guys' questions. So, yes, okay, don't speak negative, exactly. So I always say that your body is a reflection of your mind. So you can kind of look at people's bodies and see how their mind works. Now I'm not talking about, if they're a scientist or I don't know, a hairdresser. I'm talking about their physical reflection of themselves, right? The inside health reflects on the outside and the way you perceive yourself physically in a physical form. So the reason why you guys won't find pictures of me overweight is because I've never been overweight, and I might be 7 pounds max overweight. That's it. I went through 10 knee surgeries, so I broke everything you can snap in your left knee, including patella tendon, ACL, MCL. My entire medial meniscus was ripped off the bone, plus most of the cartilage on the condyles of my knee in the joint destroyed, and now I have arthritis, and so keto has been very advantageous to keep that inflammation at bay without so far doing any type of stem cell therapy. So if you see my body, if you see this, if you see how my physique is, even with knee injury, I try to tell people that I had been working on my glutes. If I lower this business. So I've been working, you see that bootay? That was flat as a board before. Flat, okay? Flat booty before. Like flat, super flat. And people didn't believe me, so I had to show pictures, and then people are like, oh my God, it's true. So I'm in that premenopause age at 50, so I'm gonna raise this stuff back up. And so we can no longer blame like genetics. Now we can talk about like muscle belly shape, right? But when you get older, your estrogen and men and women tends to dominate. And our progesterone drops in men, their testosterone drops, and often men start to develop too much dihydrotestosterone or DHT. And this is in the presence typically from a lot of estrogen. So for me to remain super fit, my keto adaptation must be on point. Like I can't play with it. So when people keep asking me about Jason, now I don't know this guy, this Jason Whitaker, I don't know how you say his last name. I don't know him, but he's not 50. And he's not 50 with a busted knee and an ex-pro skateboarder. I have to work every second of every minute of every hour of every day to make sure that my body doesn't start to catabolize. Because if I didn't do what I do, I would look a lot older. My skin color has nothing to do with the collagen, the preservation of the muscle shape, if I didn't work very hard. So, what I want people to learn is that you have a genetic baseline. This is your genetics. It's hair color, the shape of your body. But really, we are more alike in our physicality as humans than we are not alike. So trying to get people to understand that they can't have my physical fitness, but they can be on their genetic potential level of high fitness at any age. But it takes work. And that's the thing that people don't talk about on the internet. They talk about genetics. Oh, you have good genetics. Oh, I can eat whatever I want. So I talked to a guy today. He's 29 years old, and he is in fantastic shape. And he's like, I drank beer yesterday and ate like pizza. And I'm like, yeah, but in 6 years, you won't have the same physique. You may not change much, but when you hit 40, that's when things are going to change. Because you already are born with a disadvantage because you're a lot younger than myself. That means more exposure to toxins, inoculations, your gut flora is more compromised. So as the younger generation, or that millennial, as he gets older, he won't be able to preserve his DNA as well as I've been able to, because I have learned how to detoxify very early on. So I've been exposed to less toxins, plus I'm detoxifying. He's not doing that. So his DNA is going to get a bigger assault than mine. So people won't be able to use that good genes as they get older for the next generation. And we see it already in our parents' generation. So most, I'm 50, or I will be in a couple weeks. Most people in my age group, one, if not both parents, have some type of serious illness. We're seeing diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, arthritis. People have had surgeries. My mother went through cancer. Cancer tends to run wild a lot in people in our parents' generation, and they were exposed to less toxins than we were. So imagine when the doctors say in the near future that 1 out of every 2, basically half of the world's population is going to develop cancer at some point in their life. So, what the youngsters don't realize who are taking all of these supplements and garbage, they're not thinking about the internal health. They're thinking only on the physical outside, how to look good. But just because you look good on the outside doesn't mean that that's sustainable. And that's why so many women who do fitness competitions develop thyroid problems, or their menstrual cycle goes away, or they start having bone density problems from all this hardcore cardio and dieting. So I want to dispel this myth. I want to talk to you about what it really takes to get super fit. And it's more than a couple, exogenous drugs and doing a bunch of cardio and lifting heavy. It is literally the quality of your gut flora, right? Your hormones and the circadian rhythm. Because without these 3 things, which most people don't have a good circadian rhythm, most people don't sleep well, and most people have a blood sugar dysregulation, and their gut flora is crap. So the millennials, as they get older, will develop more issues if they don't address the problem now. And that's some real talk. It's more than just getting fat or not. I don't know why people think in terms of being thin or fat. That has nothing to do with your health. Nothing. Well, if you're obese, you're probably going to have a lot of metabolic derangement because of the symptoms of obesity. But in reality, people can look ripped and fit and be so fracked up, and nobody talks about it. And that's why I say things like, does your poop float or is your pee bubbly? Because you don't want to hemorrhage, right, vitamins that you're trying to get in through nutrient deficient food already. So here we go. Let's talk about how I got fit and how other people can get fit, and then I'm going to take some questions and get off this broadcast. So going into keto, I was already being mindful of how much carbohydrate I was eating. So I was really careful. If I had a Snickers bar, it would take me 2-3 days, which would drive my brother crazy. It would take me 2 or 3 days to finish a Snickers bar because I always had this voice in the back of my head that processed things, preservatives, and all this crap in foods is not healthy. But I still ate cereal, I still ate bread, I still ate all of this stuff. So once I started doing keto, I started graduating slowly, which is probably why I didn't go through a big keto flu reaction. So I went down to sweet potato, and then eventually I just cut all the carbs out. All the carbs, all the sweet fruits, but my fat was too low. So you didn't miss anything. I'll get there. I'm just going in my 5-10 minute explanation of the title of the video, and then I'm going to take your guys' questions. So I did keto wrong in the very beginning. I was trying to apply keto onto my mother so she wouldn't die of a glioblastoma, which is the most aggressive brain tumor. And in the I guess the learning curve of trying to get her to do it, I also was doing it, and I had my own reasons for doing it, and I did things wrong. I ate almond butter. I was never a big cheese person, but I had cheese, and my fats were too low. So in the middle of the day, and I used to personal train people, in the middle of the day, I would have hypoglycemia or reactive hypoglycemia. And so I was like, this is not working. I have my reactive hypoglycemia worsened on a ketogenic protocol. It wasn't as bad before when I was eating carbohydrates. So I bumped up my fat to 400 grams a day, and I gained weight. But my reactive hypoglycemia went away. And then I knew that high fat is the way to start stabilizing your blood sugar. So with that said, I applied keto onto a lot of personal training clients, and I've talked about this and written about this and all this stuff, but I learned a lot. But when I actually started vlogging, that's when and to consult people, that's when I really, really learned what's going on with this whole keto thing. So to get super fit, you have to regulate your blood sugar. So you need a glucometer. Precision Extra, Freestyle, Rely On. These are the main glucometers that people use. Now, some countries you can't get, because this is the World Wide Web. Some countries you cannot get the Abbott, that's the parent company, glucometers. Now, glucometers are not perfect science. Forget the breathalyzers and the urine strips. They're almost useless. They can show that you're wasting ketones, but they can't show what's going into the cell. And even a glucometer cannot, the glucometers can be from $14 to $30, depending on where you live. They're not expensive. It's the ketone strips that are expensive, but the glucose strips are quite cheap. Ketone strips come in about 10 in a box, and the glucose can come to about 100 in a box. So you can spend up to $14 to $16, 100 in a box blood sugar glucose strips. And of course, ketone depending on where you live in the world, they can be from like $20 to $50 for 10. So if you test your ketones, you only test literally once a week if you have 10 in a box, and then you can go about 2.5 months on 10 in a box. And it's very important to see where your ketones are. You cannot test ketones alone, and you really shouldn't test glucose alone. But with that said, I started to change my workouts, because I'm holding up these bands. This kind of belief like no pain, no gain. I realized that my blood sugar would spike if I would force myself into a workout. So I began to ramp down my workouts, and I began to explain to people in the consultations, these are Skype consultations, to also ramp down their workouts. And I really started getting people to test their blood sugar around the workouts to see if it would spike. So if your blood sugar spikes, probably more than 2 to 3 points, you have to raise an eyebrow. You have to raise an eyebrow. But nothing's complex, Michael. It seems complex because you might be new to this whole ketogenic game. And when people go on the internet to learn about keto, they get so much conflicting information, then I become confusing, because I'm the one who pretty much tells the truth. I'm not talking about the scientists right now. I'm just talking about people talking about keto. So the problem is when you're doing like CrossFit or powerlifting or sprints, or if you're doing endurance training or long distance marathon type of training or triathlons, anything that's going to stimulate the nervous system and the adrenal glands while trying to produce viable ketones and drop your glucose, it doesn't work that way. Our blood sugar is always in flux, but what we want to do is stabilize it so the highs and lows become more in the middle. We want to be more like this rather than like this. What people don't understand is that if your blood sugar is too high, which is why this keto OS is a bunch of bullshit, is that if your blood sugar is too high, ketones become unviable. Now, your body will use some, but not enough to be fully adapted and reap the benefits and stop the gluconeogenesis or the bullshit. All right, you gotta go, dude. You know the guy who's saying that I'm bullshit? That's all you got, bro. You don't got nothing else. You got nothing else. Now, I work with 2,000 people. That's not bullshit. That's a motherfucking fact. So don't be so insecure because you don't like what I'm saying. I didn't say anything anyway. It's all scientific. Hugh, Jas. Google it. Nervous system. Learn a little science before you open your mouth. Damn, people are stupid. Okay, I gotta get rid of him. So, hold on a second. He gotta go. Some people just don't like a smart woman or smart ass woman. Hold on there, guys. Gotta get rid of this guy. Okay, so. All right. My phone's getting hot. When it gets hot, it doesn't like to. Yeah, I know. I do need a moderator. I'll do it next time. I definitely need a moderator. So, I'm not, and the thing is right now, I'm not even saying anything complex. I'm just saying anything that stimulates the stimulates your nervous system, spikes your blood sugar. That's all I said. It's like, not rocket science, people. Like, just use one brain cell. Just one. Jazz. So, when your nervous system spikes, when your blood sugar spikes, ketones cannot be viable because the brain cannot use both equally. The brain, I'm making a lot of noise with this. The brain cannot use ketones and a lot of blood sugar equally. It literally likes to choose the glucose because that's what it's used to. Our brains are primed and conditioned. We're constantly overstimulated. Our nervous system is constantly overstimulated. So we're constantly in a fight or flight mode. These are facts. It's not rocket science. When you work out and people start doing like CrossFit or powerlifting or anything that's going to spike the blood sugar, you paid if you paid $46.99, you paid too high. You need to look at the other vendors on Amazon for the different prices. Okay. So essentially, I tell people to ramp down their workouts. You got to ramp them down. You got to put your body into a homeostatic balance first. Then once you start putting your body in a homeostatic balance and start doing the diaphragmatic breathing and getting magnesium and relaxing and not being exposed to blue lights and all of this, I'll take your questions in a second. When you guys eventually start really using more viable ketones, you'll notice your blood sugar drop. Right? So if your blood sugar's in the 90s, you'll start watching the trend of it going down and down. And that takes time because your body's used to this, remember? And just because you do keto it's not gonna put it in this range. It takes time to get it from slamming up and down and up and down and up and down and getting that pancreatic response, that insulin response to be not overloading your body with too much insulin. You'll start to notice there's a balance in your blood sugar. Then you notice that your ketones will start to pop into range. And I've seen this a lot with many people who are very disciplined at their keto adaptation. And that's the problem. People want to cheat. They want to shortcut their way into having the business, and the body doesn't work like that. There's no shortcuts. And like I said, you cannot mess with the balance of nature because it'll mess with your health. So when I work out, I do a lot of time under tension because I realized, and I ride my bike all over LA. I have a car, but I ride my bike. Now, I got a busted knee, so I don't do it for cardio. I just do it for just getting blood or, just, first of all, I hate driving here in this city. And then also, I'm getting nice oxygenated blood to the entire body. So when I finally get to the gym, I'm already warmed up. So I'm doing time under tension, and I'm going slow negatives, right? So to do an explosive positive, and then I'll come down on a negative. And it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I don't care if it's dumbbell, barbell, bands. I don't really care, right? If I'm doing plate loading machines, and then I might do, let's say, 9 reps, and then I'll pump out the last 4, for example, or 3. So I'll pump the last 3, but I'm always going to go slower on the negative because, as you guys can see, the muscle is flexed as you go negative. But if I do this, the muscle's not as flexed. I don't care what the movement is, right? I don't care what it is. I slow down the negatives, and then I pump the last 3 to 4 reps out. Not every time, but that's literally how I work out. So I'm not trying to get my blood pressure up real high, and especially if I didn't sleep well the night before. And people are often saying, I don't know why I feel weaker today at the gym. I did the exact same thing. And I'm like, you might not hit that 5th level of good REM cycles throughout the night because you need about 5 of them. So it's like you're diving down into a swimming pool, like 1, 2, 3, 4, deep sleep, and then 5 REM. And you go in cycles because you don't dream very long. You bob down, you bob back up, so then you don't become eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. And people don't dream enough, which means they're most not likely not hitting enough deep sleep. So then you go to the gym, and even though you did the same thing and you ate the same thing, you don't have enough power, right? The body is tired. So if you want to have gains on a ketogenic protocol, you must get good REM sleep. And you must feed yourself to circadian rhythm. Now, here's the thing that I've known from doing keto almost 10 years, right? Nobody else has done it like me, 20 net carbs for this long. At some point, people have had alcohol or refed. I have not once, at all. I'm doing this for the long haul. One thing I've noticed is that the stimulation from life still fracks me up. Still fracks me up. The stress of bills, like right now, I have a ring light on me. That light is blasting in my face. It's brighter than the light going down right now in the evening. So for me to build muscle, I must sleep well. That's how you get super fit. Like, it's all about the sleep. Growth hormone, and people don't understand. Between like 9 p.m. and 12 midnight, that's when all the magic happens with growth hormone. So people sit and they do these like I have a friend that works for this Barry's boot camp, and I don't tell him what I really think because I'm not trying to like hurt his feelings, but his workouts, he's like, and I scream and I yell at people, and like if they're like almost dying, I push them harder until they have to vomit. That's how people start developing things like Addison's disease. And it's like, we've gotten this whole thing wrong. Before you guys start doing endurance training, adapt first. Take your time. I would slow down on the endurance training and just focus on resistance training. Teach your body how to balance its blood sugar and make viable ketones. Get your macros on point, but really learn how to breathe and disconnect. You hear the sirens? You have to disconnect from that. And we don't. So the blood sugar always remains unstable, even though people ramp down their workouts. So I say to people, go to the gym, focus on time under tension, focus on resistance training, body training. If you're gonna power lift, really focus on your breathing. Focus and be really careful with your nervous system. And then sleep. Most 99% of the people that I talk to, they don't sleep well. So if you're young, you get the gains. Dang, these sirens. Sorry, guys. But as you get older, me, I'm 50. So it is like beyond measure very important that I find that circadian rhythm, timing of my meals, super important, people. Very important. What I learned was that with the days that I'm riding my bike and I'm on my bike all day long and I'm at the gym for freaking hours and I'm just physically just going all the time, I wake up more in the middle of the night. So why am I waking up more in the middle of the night? I'm waking up because my blood sugar is dropping too low. That means that my keto adaptation on those days isn't going very well. Because when my blood sugar drops too low at night, then the problem is that my cortisol spikes. Boom! And that spike of cortisol is waking me up, and then I notice I have to pee. But it's not actually the having to use the bathroom that is waking me up, it's cortisol. So I started to do experiments with the consultations of clients. And I started having people do stuff that would seem unconventional to the other keto consultants. What I started to do was I had people do 1 or 2 tablespoons of a fatty meat with the coconut oil, if your body can tolerate coconut oil. So this is to stabilize the blood sugar. Now, you might finish eating at 6. If you go to bed at 10, I might have somebody eat something at, let's say, 9 o'clock, literally a bite, and then digest, give yourself an hour, then go to bed, and this helps stabilize the blood sugar so you don't wake up. And I have practiced this, and I have applied this to so many people, and it works, you guys. It works. It stops you from waking up in the middle of the night or as many times. It's incredible. But I don't like people to eat after 6 because if you've got low stomach acid from modern society living, okay, then you go and eat food. That food, even that 1 bite of protein, doesn't digest very well. So you're in this complete rock and a hard place, this dichotomy. Which suckier situation is better? Well, I've learned that eating coconut oil, which is a medium chain triglyceride, which is smaller in particle size, your body needs less digestive properties to break it down before bed, and then a fatty meat, a bite. So if it's not that much, your body can digest more a bite of protein rather than a bowl of it. This helps stabilize your blood sugar. And so for a lot of you guys who are having reactive hypoglycemia, I started putting in a bite of protein and some fat in between main meals. So you have breakfast, you have a bite of something, even if you're not hungry. It's just to stabilize your blood sugar. It has nothing to do with feeding you. And then I'll have people have lunch, and then an afternoon bite to stabilize the blood sugar. Once you stabilize your blood sugar and you stabilize your sleep, and then you go into the gym and your ketones begin to rise and your blood sugar drops and you've got energy, you can start ramping up those workouts. And you don't need to do cardio to get lean, right? You want to rely on the mitochondria within the muscle cell, because as soon as you stop working out, your metabolism is running real high and can even run up almost 24 hours after you've done some type of resistance workout. So what I suggest for people to do for cardio is go take a walk outside, go take a hike, go ride a bike, but don't forcefully push your nervous system to do something in the part of the day when you don't feel like it, because the book. Yes, you guys, I'm writing a book, and so many keto books keep coming out right now, and bless their little hearts, but not all of it, but a lot of the information is so incorrect, it's horrible. It's terrifying to me. So, yeah, you guys, look, the way I talk now in this live broadcast, I'm not, explaining molecules. I'm really dumbing it down and trying to simplify what I'm talking about. So, your macros do matter, guys. They matter. But to me, it's so elementary, because what really matters is understanding how you breathe, how your posture is, if you're creating a C shape with your upper lumbar region, how you deal with stress, how the synapses in your mind work. Do you have a gag response when you do eat fat? These things matter. The quality of your gut. Do you have rash on your skin, right? Do you have eczema? Do you have shingles? Do you have acne? Do you have dandruff? This is symbolic of what's going on in the gut. Do you get colds and flus all the time, right? Do you have an itchy butt? Do you have yeast infections? Do you get bladder infections all the time? These are the subjects that no one talks about because they're embarrassing, right? The leaky gut that people have, the Crohn's, the beginning of Crohn's that people have, the inflammation of the large intestine, nobody talks about this stuff. And I'm telling you, I'll walk into the gym and I open up the bathroom stall and I'm like, something's going on with these girls, yo. These girls are fracked up. They got IBS, they got leaky gut. I see it in every bathroom stall. It's disgusting, but nobody talks about it. People go on Instagram and they see hot, ripped fitness models, and nobody's checking out their toilet after they've been sitting on it. What the frack is going on? Or if they have a menstrual cycle. Yes, itchy butt. I'm not gonna lie. People have itchy butts. They've got, guys get a lot of rashes around their balls, between their toes. Toes. White tongue. People you can see that their eyes are not white. It's crazy that the stuff no one talks about. So when certain people who shall be nameless on the internet going oh, I've got a new ketogenic weight loss protocol, eat high protein and low fat, they don't care how your internal health is. It's embarrassing. Come on, people. Keto is not about losing weight. Keto is about protecting the cells from too much glycation from too high blood sugar. That's what keto is about. But we have disgustingly morphed it into some weight loss bullshit. And then everybody does it wrong. Most people do it wrong. And they start having issues. And nobody talks about it. How many times do I go on the internet? Watch my ketogenic weight loss journey. But I'm not going to talk to you about when my hair started falling out because I started having thyroid and low T3. Do they talk about that? No. When people want to build muscle. Men, your testosterone's too low. The guys on this channel, listen to me, right? Your freaking testosterone should be towards 800 to 1,000, naturally, if you're healthy. I always say to guys, go get your testosterone checked, and they're like under 200 all the time. You walk into the gym, how many guys are flat? I can spot steroids like that. I can spot it like that because people are so desperate to get a particular physique. They're not looking at like what's going on with your 3 estrogens, your progesterone, and your testosterone. And then the circadian rhythm and the stress and how you breathe, because that's how you oxygenate the blood. Men, your testosterone's too low. No joke. That's why you don't get the gains in the gym. And you can't get rid of this because your blood sugar is unstable. When glucose is high, insulin is high, you're going to store fat. And then those fat cells divide and they become endocrine machines of making more fat cells via estrogen. So men are flat muscle, they can't get rid of the flank fat. These are men. Women on this channel, they don't talk about this. Men don't talk about it. They're too embarrassed. Women are like, oh my God, my cellulite and my estrogen dominance and, my tricep fat. Why aren't people talking about what's going on with men? You guys, be very careful with your organic produce. Or non-organic. Because the pesticides, they are to make the male insect sterile. And what about milk, right? Or that cheese that you guys are doing on a ketogenic protocol that's just loaded beyond the casein with hormones. Nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about this stuff. You guys, I'm 50. Why am I more muscular? And I've got 10 times less testosterone than a man. Because I do everything I can to connect to the circadian rhythm. Oh, lectins, honey. I got all kind of thing about lectins. So I know you guys wanted here's the step 1 when you do keto to get muscle. Here's the step 2 and here's the step 3 and 4 and 5. It doesn't work that way. This person asked about lectins. If you have a problem with lectins, which is plant chemicals, right? Your body's inflamed. Your C-reactive protein might be too high. And this will push down your testosterone, men and women, and spike your estrogen. So you can go into the gym and drink expensive protein powders and you won't get the gains. And you can do cardio forever and you're never going to get rid of that fat. You just keep losing muscle when you're trying to get rid of this. Trying to get rid of this, you get rid of this. Try to get rid of this, but you just get rid of this. Yeah, no cheese or cream. So, it sounds complicated, but if you really care about your physical health or your internal health, you're going to pay attention to all these little details, right? What's your skin like? How long does it take you to fall asleep? Because if it takes you more than 30 minutes, your cortisol is too high and it's inverted. How many times do you wake up in the middle of the night? Cheese is not okay on keto, Claudia. It's absolute dangerous to the body. But then you go and you see these keto books and it's embarrassing. It's not rocket science, people. Casein, why do people have milk allergies? Why did they take away nuts on airplanes? Because some people are so sensitive to it, it's like it makes them beyond measure sick. It's not normal to wake up in the middle of the night if you don't have a predator after you. Butter does not have casein, hun, Frank. Butter, I saw that in capital letters. The levels of casein and whey are tiny. Now, some people have got histamine issues. Their guts, the gut permeability of their wall is so compromised, even think amount of whey and casein and grass-fed butter makes them react. So some people can't even eat butter. So milk has the proteins. It's the proteins that are dangerous, whey and casein. Yeah, she started keto with your mother who's got Alzheimer's. It is amazing for the brain. My mother has a brain injury. So in the beginning, I had to call her all the time to eat coconut oil because of the lauric acid. So amazing for brain injuries or Alzheimer's. So I would go and have my mom do 6 tablespoons of coconut oil, and her stuttering, she would stutter, and it would go away. Like this. Lauric acid is powerful to the brain. Okay, so ramp down your workouts first. Once you start to adapt, so your workouts are ramped down. So as you adapt, you can increase the intensity of your workouts because you'll learn how to breathe. You'll learn how to sleep in REM state cycles. You'll disconnect from the stress. And where are my blue blocker glasses? You'll have blue blockers at night and you'll get enough electrolytes in. And that's, once you're adapted, then the brain is more now primed and conditioned to break down units of body fat and use it for energy. Okay, so I'm going to take your guys' questions now. My mother, she just puts it in her mouth. Somebody asked about how she takes the coconut oil. It's called diaphragmatic breathing, from the diaphragm. And we don't breathe because when we're focusing, we don't breathe. So the blood's not very oxygenated. And all of these things are inflammatory to not breathe enough. Because if you were to live outside, you would hike or build, a shelter, you're going to breathe. Janet, with your cholesterol going from 230 to 435, check your blood sugar. I'm sure it's probably high. It's not keto that's spiking your blood sugar. It's your very wrong application of it. This is why I tell people to use a glucometer, because if her blood sugar is up in the 130s to 200, of course, her total cholesterol number is going to rise and her CRP is going to be high, and her... now, this is a total cholesterol number. She actually needs to do a small particle size test because that total number doesn't mean shit. Sorry for the swearing. Multivitamins are garbage. They're microdosed for one type for all people. What if you have a histamine response to some of the man-made vitamins in that little compressed pill? No, you can get your vitamins from food. Stop using supplements to the gravity and the enormity that we're using them, and try to just live a more healthy life. No DMP, not if you want to die of a heart attack or clenbuterol. Let's see. The bottom line, keto regime to fix the gut, it's sleep. That's why when we heal, if we have a cut, we wake up in the morning, it's healing overnight. Our body tries to go and hibernate. That's why your blood pressure drops and your blood thickens and your body goes into a hibernation mode, and so you begin to repair. So to heal the gut, it really is about sleep. It's not a supplement. I mean, you could take glutamine. People try to take glutamine, and the glutamine, the amino acid, won't seal the gut if you don't get to sleep. It just won't seal. That's why I'm not like a big supplement user. You have to regulate your stress. So there's not a lot of things that you can do to fix leaky gut, except for, eat high quality food, stay away from the foods that created the holes in the gut wall. So you got to get rid of them, or rotate. If you have histamine so bad, you have to begin to rotate. This will help bring down the level of histamine, which will also help seal the gut lining. But it's a process. Probiotics can be either amazing or dangerous. The problem with probiotics, again, when man makes things in supplementation form, you might have a sensitivity to that particular bacterial strains within the probiotic pill. So if you have a candida or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, for example, there might be a particular strain of bacteria that will explode in your gut on a general probiotic. So you have to experiment. And you want to start off with a low dose probiotic. Okay, so you don't need multivitamins. No, you don't. Nobody needs multivitamins. I mean, I'm sorry, but aren't we supposed to live outside and prosper as a human race? Our hunter-gatherers didn't have to go, wait, but let me go get my supplements no. So what we think is normal, you have to question everything that we're taught, including what I'm telling you guys. Question everything. I was going to go to Austin, Texas to the KetoCon, but I felt that they were not, I think they're lovely people organizing it, but they did not tell me enough of the proper information, and they had a year to tell me and didn't. I was like, I'm so busy. I don't have time for that. I'm not going to spend all that money. I have to spend money to go there. Okay. Keto 7 months. You have heartburn. Okay, so if you have heartburn, you might have digestive issues, like your HCl levels are probably too low. And the enzymes to break down fat are problematic. That's another thing. How do you encourage your stomach acid levels to rise to a normal base? D&B, claim beautiful, maximum damage. Don't take exogenous drugs, people. Uh, 668 for testosterone. That's pretty good if you're 48 years old. That's pretty good. Good job. Leg exercises with bands. I do them all the time. I show you guys. You see women in the gym, they are hilarious. Those booty bands, and they're like wrapped around their ankles, right? And they're doing like side squats, side squats. I see this all day in the gym. Build those legs. Build those glutes. All day, every day. Deadlift. This is what I see in the gym with women all day. This is all I see, right? And they're doing Smith machine squats. Build that butt. It's kind of annoying because when I go to use the weights, there's no women. They're all in the freaking booty area. They're trying to build their legs. It's so annoying. You should every day you should use magnesium spray in the evening, like 2 hours before bed. Baking soda test for what? Please explain, Holly. Test, like a baking soda test? Thank you, the person who said that my videos were dope. Thank you. By the way, for people watching, this is an impromptu live broadcast. That means I don't use a script. Everything I say is what's up in here. You know, some people sit there with scripts, I don't. So if people feel that I'm all over the place, you're watching the wrong channel because I'm not going to change. The keto urine strips are useless. They're essentially, if it's clear, it could be that you're not using ketones. If it's clear, you could be using ketones and they're not in the urine. And if the strip is purple, you could be losing ketones. So it's better to have a glucometer. Crispy bacon, something. Oh, so many random comments. Somebody recycle that video about drinking water and baking soda. You know, is that what to neutralize the acid? Can be used for candida. I do not tout for people to use baking soda. If I said in a video, that's past. No cold water therapy to raise T, especially if you have adrenal issues and you expose yourself to cold water and it shocks your heart starts beating. When the heart's going like this, the adrenals are spiking. That's the problem with the cold therapy. You've got to have a balanced metabolism to do these extreme measures. That's the problem. I don't know who this Thomas guy is, sorry. No, I don't. In the beginning, no, I don't carb cycle. What I do is I start people on, I take out all of the processed starches and I'll have them do a few bites of white rice if they don't have a grain issue with sweet potato as their primary sources of carbohydrate. I might have them do raw carrots and some berries, which these are all lectins and stuff. But I graduate people off of like bread and pasta and cookies and crackers and blah, 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 and sugar. And then I have them do slower, well, unfortunately, white rice. I don't like to use the brown rice because the shell is toxic of the brown rice. I have them do white rice, but only about 4 tablespoons or in grams, about 60 grams in weight. Or 50 grams in weight. You guys have to recycle. If I don't answer your question, recycle, because I'm getting like 20,000 comments at once. Baking soda water test. Check for stomach acids are low. No, I mean, look, if your stomach acids are low, you might find that you're burping. You might find yourself bloated when you eat food. You might find yourself constipated. It's pretty much a sign of the heartburn. These are signs of low stomach acid. When you have an aversion to red meat, you have a hard time digesting it. And somebody gave me 100 emojis, but I couldn't read it because the thing went by too fast. Calories don't matter. So I've mentioned this in a million videos. They don't matter because it matters how your pancreas works, right? So if you're insulin resistant and you eat like a bag of cookies, your blood sugar is going to spike so high, your insulin's not going to work well, and that high blood sugar of like 200 is going to, your body's going to barf out bolus amounts of insulin and then start storing fat, and then the fat cells divide, and then you start to create more estrogen, which makes more fat cells, and there's this huge negative loop. So if you take 500 calories from cookies and 500 calories from steak, they have to be broken down and used differently. And nobody talks, I mean, it's like simple math. One works like this, one works like that, but they're both 500 calories. And then you have to factor in the rate of somebody's metabolic, like how their body, their metabolic rate, if they've got good GLUT4 receptor development, if they sleep well. So the calories don't matter. For keto, it just matters the grams, right? The percentages with grams, not just percentages, because you can do, 80, 15, 5 and eat 1,000 calories. And it doesn't work just the percentages of fat. It matters if you're starting baseline at 200 grams of fat or higher, which is very controversial with a lot of people. It's not that everybody, thank you, Grim. It's not that everyone needs to eat 200 grams of fat to keto adapt. It's just that I've noticed from coaching thousands of people now that's the beauty, that's the number, the sweet spot number in grams of fat that encourages ketone production and for glucose to drop if you're doing everything else correctly. So then over time you can play with your fat amounts. Like, I didn't really need to drop my fat to remain lean. As you guys can see, I'm lean. I don't need to drop my fat. My body really loves a lot of fat. I'm so physically active that if I try to drop my fat to get more lean, now yes, I get more lean, but then my adrenals start freaking out when I do that. Yes, all this information is going to be in the book. So the actual book itself, I've really made it a lot more extensive than I originally planned to. Talk about what type of book you're after. Okay, the book is going to, by contract, I have to involve recipes in it, which I don't want to do. But at least if I create keto recipes, I'm going to put disclaimers on everything, talk about lectins, salicylates, oxalates, goitrogens, for people who've got issues with these plant chemicals, and to be very careful, use your glucometer. Here's symptoms you need to look out for, how often you should have these particular foods that I'm not very agreeable with. But really the book is about, I don't favor Angela Bassett, maybe the eyes. Go Google Angela Bassett. There's nothing in our face shape that's the same, lips are nothing. Our noses are totally different. It's just this eye shape. And then she did that, what's love got to do with it? And she had muscles. And so when that movie, look, I've been compared to Chili from TLC, Lisa Bonet when the Cosbys were on. I mean, everyone. Beyonce, and I look nothing like her. And Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, and Angela Bassett. I'm kind of over it. Anyway, what does it say? Oh, we got a troll here. Oh, trolls. I'm so bored. Hold on, let me get rid of this troll. Come on, phone. When my phone gets hot, it has a hard time to get rid of the trolls. So I'm going to make this a short broadcast, I think, you guys. Let me rephrase. A shorter one. If you can't handle coconut oil or avocados, you don't need... Actually, animal fat's the most important fat because it has mono, saturated, and polys, right? In animal fat. Animal fat is not straight saturated fat. It's also divided between mono and poly. So you can get those... We are animal fat, so we do very well with animal fat. You can't just adapt on coconut oil and avocados. It doesn't work. I've seen it a million times. Thank you, Joseph. Everybody hit the like button. There's 102 people in this broadcast, and there's only 63 likes. And if you like if you want me to continue to do live broadcasts, then showing me the light, love, helps other people who might be suspicious of a woman in a friggin' top talking about the body. So like up the stream if you don't mind. I would really highly appreciate it. Okay, comments are going really fast. That's why I'm quiet. Thank you, Rob. Hi, Donna. Foods. Oh my God. Okay, I've got a foods to steer away from. Okay, that's a good question. Somebody asked, what foods do you steer away from? And I mean, I say this in a million videos. People see me as like the food Nazi, but you definitely want to stay away from cheese. You're going to notice like really weird trends with your blood sugar on cheese. Stay away from the cheese, and plus if you have a gut dysbiosis, it's a nightmare. And it's very inflammatory, so with the casein. Get rid of the cheese, get rid of all the nuts, get rid of the nut butters, maybe mac nuts, but even some people react off macadamia nuts. And thank you. You want to stay away from things like squash, summer squash. It's too high in carbohydrate. Carrots, obviously corn, bell peppers or paprika in other countries they call it. Onions, the bulb onions, like red or white. I'll go into the glucometer readings in a second. Eggplant, also too high in carbohydrate. Things with seeds in it, squash, cucumber. Cucumber just doesn't have a lot of fiber. So even a whole cucumber can spike your blood sugar too high. So I would say just have a couple slices. Tomatoes, the skins are considered nightshades and super inflammatory for people. Yams is too many carbohydrates, so that's not keto. Yams, sweet potatoes. Now you can use yams or sweet potatoes as a measure to graduate slowly into keto, like give yourself, depends on how bad your damage is. If you've got really bad hypoglycemia, you want to go 5 weeks slowly into keto. And if you just have reactive hypoglycemia, you can do it in about 2 weeks. Yeah, nightshades hurt your bones. That's what Sandy says. You guys don't realize how that we're eating foods out of season. And plants have been around for what, 1 billion years before we ever came? If I say it in this context, the planet's been around, if the planet's been around for 24 hours, we've only been around for a second. So plants have learned how to create a defense because they want to survive. And nobody talks about this stuff. It's weird, like lectins, salicylates, oxalates, goitrogens, and we're eating foods and we've selectively bred them, we've genetically modified them, so nothing's normal anymore, and we're just constantly being exposed to chemicals out of season, and that's when people might notice things like their wounds don't heal, they get really gassy from eating certain foods, like they're tired. We have to look deeper, like the rashes, the dandruff, the itchy butt. You have to look deeper at the reasons why we're having issues digesting food. Fatty tea, good after 7 p.m. If it's like an MCT, maybe a little bit of butter, but coconut oil is really good because it goes quickly into the bloodstream, doesn't have to be fully digested through into the small intestine. Broccoli is actually cabbage, and we have that's not even a real food. That's not Mother Nature. Ackee is what? Ackee is a fatty fruit? I don't know what you mean by that. Sardines? Wait, Sardinians? Oh, the Sardinians. Fish. Wait, fish. I would stay away from whitefish and eat more. If you're gonna have fish, have salmon and sardines. Now, some people are just so paranoid about, or concerned. I wouldn't say paranoid. Concerned about the water or oceans that some people don't even touch fish. So that's your own personal choice. I'm just telling you the types of fatty foods that are more acceptable with the omega-3 and the DHA, EPA. Things like snow crabs, it's something that you would have every once in a while for pleasure, but clams and stuff like that, but not on the daily. You need fatty meats, because fatty meats, we have to encourage, basically guys, you have to eat a lot of fat. Wow, thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Now I realize there are more likes than there are people watching the broadcast. I really appreciate that. How much is too much of a spike of blood sugar? So I'm going to talk about blood sugar really quick because because I talk about this in every live broadcast. It's, I don't like that purple showing. Oh, I don't like that, like that. Okay. Basically, I've said this a million times. So for those who, more fit than Floyd, I'm more fit than Floyd Mayweather. I'm more healthy, you could say. Do you know what I mean? I'm older and I do things to just be more healthy. There's a like button on the mobile phone. I have no idea. So shrimps, I love shrimp, but I have them, 3 times a year. I don't still take MCT oil anymore. I just do coconut oil and call it a day because I really like the lauric acid benefits from cold pressed coconut oil, and MCT oil is processed. So, okay. I'm gonna wait. Is it okay to consume MCT coconut oil over animal fat? No, never. Sorry, you can't adapt without animal fat. You might be able to produce ketones, blood sugar will be unstable, and that's not being highly keto adapted, and you can't do that for years. And this is why so many people say that doing keto for the long term is dangerous, because people do it the wrong way. It's not keto that's dangerous in the long term, or I wouldn't look younger as I'm getting older. You guys can see it in old videos that I look better now than I've ever had in the past. But I need to talk about blood sugar though. Weights versus reps, fat loss. It's not, you can't, this is ketogenic, you have to adapt first. There's going to be no fat loss till you're highly adapted. Garlic is, okay, yes. But I think it's a lectin. Kidney pain, brownish, ooh. Drew, honey, get rid of the lean meats, drink a lot of water. I don't know, you might have a bladder infection. I keep my fats over 200 grams even though I'm adapted because I just feel better. My skin is a lot better. You guys can see skin quality, like everything's fantastic on higher animal fats. Okay, let me just say these numbers really quick because 2 people asked about it. You want to have your glucose between 69 and 80 milligrams per deciliter. I'm not speaking in millimolars right now. And then I'll talk about the early morning dawn effect in a second, which is when people have too high blood sugar in the morning. That's what the dawn effect is. And you want your ketones to be between a 1.8 and a 3.0. So if you've got, let's say, a glucose of 77 and your ketones are at a 2.6, that's great. Now we got to make sure that those ketones are viable, that they're not ending up in the toilet, because you can have perfect numbers on a test and still not be adapted. And that's the reason why I tell people to do the other thing, like journal your energy levels, because if you're like this in your energy, that means that your blood sugar might be low, and that's a sign of hypoglycemia. To have a blood sugar in the 77, and then you're not using the ketones that are showing up on the glucometer, that could be hypoglycemia in the disguise of being keto adapted. Nobody talks about this on the internet. Why? Because if they talk about this stuff, then you get those responses. This is too hard. This is confusing. It's really hard to keto adapt. And it is. Because this is not a diet. This is not a weight loss diet. This is a stopping your cells from glycating. Glycating means to take a cell and having it being misshapen, right? To preserve your DNA. Because your DNA sits like on a shoestring, and when the telomeres at the end, the plastic ends, pop off, and the shoestring begins to fray, that's how we see age on people. The turkey gobbler drop, sagging, tired, the facial map, that's the shortening of your DNA, and keto stops the very quick progression of your DNA shortening. And then with all of that, once you stabilize your blood sugar, you can use it as a modern tool for weight loss. But ketogenesis, or to be ketotic, is very primal. It has absolutely nothing to do with weight loss. We've made it into that. And epigenetics is very, very, very interesting. So what you see in me, you guys, is not, and I have to keep reminding people of this, it's not my genes. It's not my genes. Because if you stuck my brother and myself, and we're just 2 years apart, if we stuck us like next to each other, same parents, you would see how one individual, and you can do this with twins as well. This twin does this, and that twin does that, and then it becomes no more about genetics. It's about it's the epigenetics. that means that you can manipulate your DNA to do what you want it to do. That means taking switches and flipping off bad genes and turning on good genes. So we have good genes, but because of harsh lifestyle, we don't do things. We're eating mono foods. We're eating fast foods. Our blood sugar's all over the place. We begin to switch on bad genes. That's how cancer starts to, blah, 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 right? Because we all have cancerous cells. They just sit there sleeping until we wake those suckers up. Yes, I'm in my 50s in the number, but I'm actually in my early 30s by the way I look and the way I live. So you can kind of be, it's like people are like, what ethnicity are you? And I'm like, whatever I want to be. So you can define your own self in any kind of way if you want to. Thank you, Arlette. Somebody's saying I don't have crow's feet or wrinkles. I have some, but they're not what you would see of a 50-year-old, a common 50-year-old, or the sagging of the skin, because people say you see less wrinkles on brown skin, but you can see sagging. You see, that's where you really see the age is in the sagging of the skin. Is it Dama? Thank you, Dama14. Is that an M or an N? Medications make you gain weight, yes. Good meal for a man? Well, probably some grass-fed steak if you can handle that, and some moderately cooked cruciferous vegetables with a shite load of fat, animal fat like butter. Bone broth is great. Some people respond. I don't know what component is or property is in the bone broth. For people who got histamine, they react to it. So if you don't, like, I have no histamine response to bone broth. So it has like so many vitamins. You know, it's got B12 and it's got potassium, zinc, iron, potassium. When people have a hard time to get their potassium in from spinach or avocado, bone broth is great for potassium to take away the benign palps that people are feeling when they do keto the wrong way. Thank you, Sandy. You guys see the business. I'm in a friggin' workout top. And I went and I showed the butte in the earlier videos to show you, people are like, oh, your booty's all plump. But I'm like, because I work on it. Yes. Sweet tooth after high fat. Okay, wait, you have a sweet tooth after a high fat meal causes... whoever has a sweet tooth, you're probably using the wrong kind of fat, the wrong kind of protein, and not enough fat. I am 49, turning 50 in a couple weeks. Somebody asked how old I was. Hey, Jersey. Stable blood sugar 60s and 70s, high ketones, eating 35 and 4,000 calories, gain fat on keto, so the calories did matter. Okay, so Jersey, let me explain this to you. Okay, you just said that your blood sugar is between 60 and 70. That's not zero. So Jersey, your body's still cranking out insulin. You know? And Jersey, if I remember, your sleep wasn't good. And if I'm not mistaken, your blood sugar might spike at some time during the night. And the thing is, you can't test your blood sugar every hour in the night because just the stress of testing will spike your blood sugar. So Jersey, at some part of the day, your blood sugar is not is above 70. It is. And you are still producing blood sugar. Your blood sugar is not in the 50s and feeling great. Remember, Jersey, if your testosterone's low, your estrogen is high, if your blood sugar's going like this all night because you're not testing at those times, you're going to store. You're going to store. Remember, guys, yes, if Jersey's having numbers between 60 and 70, he's not insulin resistant. But if you have a broken metabolism, right, if your cortisol is like this, and if you have a hard time getting rid of insulin, if your insulin is stacking up in the bloodstream because of prior damage, it's going to take time for that to, the function of insulin to not stack. Insulin stacking up in the bloodstream, you're going to store. Jersey, you're not dead. But what did Arlette ask? Somebody asked a good question, Arlette. Oh, you guys are asking too quick fix food. What is it? Quick fix food. Strange question. Leg cramps. Okay, your electrolytes are low, Richard. You need to get more water, sodium, potassium. That's why bone broth is really great for potassium. You need magnesium. It could be just the magnesium, so you need to get a magnesium supplement. Thank you, Jersey. It's going to take time, Jersey. You know, you are an A-type. You stay up too late. You do stress. And until all of those things are managed, you know, you're going to store. Now, first of all, Jersey, you don't have to eat 3,500 calories of fat. So you ever thought to drop it and see if your ketones remain stable? I think you might have to drop the fat a little bit. Yeah, Jersey's a super A-type and he's a stressor. And I know that because I had a consultation with him a while back. That's why I can single him out and why he's saying his blood sugar. First of all, nobody's blood sugar is between 60 and 70 all day, every day. And I know that as a fact. You can get some magnesium spray on Amazon. Yes. Maybe even Whole Foods has it. Or your local health store. Okay, you're in your 40s. Will keto restore some sagging face, neck? No. Basically, if you've got sagginess, right, if your skin sags, keto is not going to make the skin like go and taut again. What keto will do will prevent it will stabilize some kind of sagginess because you're going to get a lot of fat in the dermis layers of your skin, right? So you don't look so dehydrated. It's going to plump it out a little bit. It's going to plump it out. And it's going to get rid of the inflammation in the skin. But if you've got, like, if you lost a lot of weight dramatically and the skin is sagging, it just won't tighten up and be like a drum again. You set up a Kathy on my website, which is stephanieperson.com. You can set up a consultation. I opened up the calendar last week and it got almost full booked in a week. So as you guys know, I'm writing the Ultimate Keto book, and I've shortened the amount of consultations on my calendar, and that's why they get booked up really fast. And I shortened the amount. I created less so I can have more time to write. And I didn't create a bunch of packages because I don't have time to do all these like month of training and follow-ups and all this kind of stuff. It's just like a 1-hour consultation. You guys could talk to me one-on-one. We put together a meal plan, exercise strategy, and I explain how this shit works. And we go over your whole lifestyle in an hour. See, Body Health says I gotta be some truth. She looks good. Lies and black don't crack. It's not about me being black because I'm actually mixed with a lot of different things. So the way I look has nothing to do with being black, you guys. It has something to do with very early on getting rid of food and lifestyle habits that would damage cells. So I took away the group consultations. I think I'm going to add them again because some of you, I don't want to do a group consultation, but it's cheaper. But I will, yes. Is it Trevor? I will open up the group consultations and do a few more instead of just one-on-ones. You can start keto as a baby if you're 23. You can start as a baby. Whew, I'm all stiff here talking. And I need to go, I think. It's getting late. I've been talking an hour and 13 minutes. Come and talk 5 more minutes, guys. The group consultations, I think, are so fun because we're like, I did maybe I'll release another video I've done, recording of a group consultation, what they look like. Keto snacks. You don't really need snacks once you're adapted, you know? But if you're traveling, maybe macadamia nuts. Sometimes I make my own dried beef jerky. I'll do like keto pancakes with flax and coconut flour. These are foods I can tolerate. Pork rinds, but these would only be travel snacks. This isn't something you would snack in all day because it'll raise the protein count too high. Now, there are videos out there saying that your protein can be high and that your fat has to be low to lose weight. This is somebody who's trying to damage your thyroid. Don't listen to people who say that. You know, these other keto consultants, they don't factor in your metabolic damage. It's really, really important. Fermented veggies can create a worse explosion in your gut. So you have to start off with like a teaspoon and see how you react. It's a lot of experimentation on keto. See a lot of weird comments here. Urine strips are pretty much junk. Yeah, I wouldn't waste money on them. Thank you, the person who's saying that I rock. Thank you. Fat bombs. Fat bombs is like you take coconut oil in liquid form or like butter in liquid form, and you could add like vanilla or Ceylon cinnamon with a little bit of Himalayan salt and some stevia. You pour it in like ice cube molds, and then you put it in the refrigerator, or you can use cacao butter. And then you put it in the refrigerator, melt it, and it solidifies in the refrigerator. And they're like little cubes of like yumminess. They really are. They're really, really good. Ceylon cinnamon is the best. It's better than cassia. Cassia is more processed. Can be more damaging to the liver. Ceylon is more protective, and it's got a better taste. It almost has like a chocolatey taste to it. Good night, Shannon. I know I'm up late today, but I thought I would do one after. I've been running around all day on my bike. If you put fat bombs in a tea, they're gonna melt. So what's the point? You might as well just put the ingredients in a tea and just call it a fatty tea. You cannot do vegan keto. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. I tried. People weren't adapting. Their blood sugar was skyrocketing because veganism is a high carb diet. Sorry, it's an all carb diet, right? Beans, rice, you can do, well, that's not true, because the fat like coconut oil and avocado oil or seed oils and nut oils and all this shit, are pure fat, but they don't have the 3 fatty acid profiles. So like seed oils are super high in polyunsaturated fat, really, really inflammatory to the body. The body does love mono, so like avocado oil, but these things oxidize easily. They're not stable, and they don't have the SFAs in them. You have to have animal fat. See, but my vegan friend says you can be vegan bodybuilder. Your vegan friend is wrong. And people just have opinions, Use a glucometer. Don't trust me or trust your friend. Go have your friend use a glucometer and the numbers will tell you. And I say that every time when somebody tries to argue with me. It shuts them up like this. Green tea, no. Oh, sorry, Dawn's effect. Okay, so the early morning Dawn's effect is when your cortisol's too high. It's typically, like I said, because you guys have hypoglycemia. So sometimes eating like a bite of protein with some coconut oil an hour before bed will stabilize your blood sugar so you don't wake up with high cortisol. It's diaphragmatic breathing. It's also not being exposed to blue light, so using blue light blocking glasses in the evening and taking yourself away from technology and stress managing and fixing your posture. These things will take down all that cortisol and the caffeine and inflammatory foods, and stop eating mono foods and rotate your foods. These things will help you wake up in the morning with ketogenic blood sugar numbers instead of really high cortisol-driven early morning Dawn's effect numbers, like glucose in the 110s and higher. You can have red cabbage. It's a little bit more. Ashwagandha is just useless. You guys, you can't use ashwagandha to get down stress. You have to change your life, right? You have to change, breathe, do things. People are looking for supplements. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you. Leaky gut. Yeah, I spoke about that before. Ceiling, because that's leaky gut is when you have holes. That comes from bread, sometimes rice, dairy will open up the gut wall, and deep breathing, yes, and no maple syrup. No, it's not ketogenic. Sorry. And big particles of food enter the bloodstream, and the body doesn't understand, so it begins to attack itself, and then that can manifest in all different kinds of health problems. And to fix that, you have to get your adrenals, you have to get your circadian rhythm, you have to sleep, you might add glutamine, but really it's the sleep and getting your blood sugar stable. Colon butts, it's no maple. It will spike your blood sugar. The recommendation for a glucometer was Precision Extra Freestyle. Okay, guys, I'm going an hour 19. It's too long. Training fasted is great. No. Training, no. You're tripping. The person who says training fasted will create more beta hydroxybutyrate. Yes, but it's unviable. I'm sorry. You always get a rebound effect. I've seen that a million times. Fasted cardio, when people first try keto, they might present more ketones, because all you have to do is not eat carbs. You can make ketones, but they go into the toilet. And then check your blood sugar in the middle of the day. It's pretty reactive. So sorry, fasted keto or intermittent fasting. I've tested it and tested it and tested it, and it doesn't work. It's a short kind of, you might drop your blood sugar and spike your ketones for a short time, and then all of a sudden the blood sugar, and someone's like, I don't understand why my blood sugar just went over 100. It's because you're doing intermittent fasting and no coffee. Bink. Okay, guys, I should go. Anybody who has not liked this broadcast, please give me some thumbs up if you want me to continue broadcasting live. It's 9:47. You gotta go. Yes. Good night, everyone. You're in New York, Rob. It's time to go. No maple extra, maybe. It depends. I don't know. Not sure. Lemon water, yes, if you don't have a histamine response. Thank you. Is it Kaza? The comments are going to blah, 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 blah. Good night. And why make keto complicated by intermittent fasting? I mean, essentially, people, it's the adrenals. If we lived outside and we didn't eat, we would rest. You know, we wouldn't be doing fasted cardio. And that's why, and we wouldn't have like a gut dysbiosis and SIBO and cell phones and overstimulated bills and all this stuff if we were to live outside. That's why we could fast if we lived as a hunter-gatherer. Today, our adrenals are overstimulated, and this creates a blood sugar dysregulation. I see a lot of hypoglycemia in intermittent fasting people. Hypoglycemia and unstable blood sugar. You can't have your blood sugar stable all day long intermittent fasting. Sorry, it just doesn't work. How do you know if you're keto adapted? Because first of all, your numbers are in a ketogenic range, and you've been journaling your symptoms. That means you can poop, it doesn't float, you don't burp, you're not gassy. If you have a menstrual cycle, it's stable. It's a 28-day cycle with 6 days at least of a cycle. And then you have stable blood sugar all day long, and you sleep well, you hit more REM state cycles, and you'll start to notice things like if you have like arthritis, it starts going down. If you've got like chronic, sinus infections, they go away. Like all of these things, like all health issues essentially. Poop should not float. Yes, it should sink. If it's floating, you're either losing fat. And that's another thing. People are eating a bunch of fat, they see ketones in the blood glucometer, but their poop is floating, so they're not using the ketones. And that's, look, as doctors, scientists, or Stephanie, we only know like 1% of how the body works. I mean, we're still stupid. We don't know what's going on. So that's why you've got to do a lot of journaling and a lot of experimenting and seeing how you feel, because symptoms are always more important than blood numbers. Remember that. How you feel and how you look. If you look healthy, right? You look healthy, then that's a sign of stevia, yes, as long as you don't have a reaction to it. You gotta go to bed, Sherry. It's too late at night in the UK. 2 a.m. Yeah, I think I'm gonna talk a little bit more about, in some videos, about actually who I am. People have the wrong perception of me. A dual glucometer, yes, Donna says. Make sure it tests ketones and glucose. Fiberless poop floats? I don't know what you mean by that. And there's a question, there's like a blurb question out there. The blue light blocking glasses really work, guys. You don't notice it right away. After a couple weeks, you'll notice that you're hitting more REM cycles. Acid reflux, Drew, could be from too low stomach acid, most likely. So you got to figure, you got to address that. No, poop doesn't float because of the fiber. It should sink because of the fiber. No, well, my blue light blocking glasses are semi-clear, but they block out less of the blue light. Orange glasses really block out more. They go in percentages. I'm not coming to Connecticut. I don't even know what I would do there. Sorry. Okay, guys, I better go. Body health, I guess. Thank you. You don't wear them to bed. That's the most odd question. Why would you wear glasses to bed? You wear them to block out lamps, computers, television, and cell phones. So if you're not on those devices, then you wouldn't be wearing the glasses. You have your eyes closed. Not to make fun. I just find that question, people like, do I wear them to bed when I sleep? I'm like, no. Okay, guys, thank you so much. And I've got what? Energy, energy, energy. I forget to say that. Energy, energy. And this is the mother sucking business at almost 50. Don't forget it. People try to get me to stop doing that, but you cannot change who I am. I'm really grateful that you guys are all here. Good night, and until next time, be looking out. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and then you'll get the notification when I go live next. And I really appreciate you guys. I really do. And it's been a great audience. Few trolls, but my phone's too hot to block them. So thank you. Yes. So the keto book's coming out. You guys also know I'm doing a ketogenic course. You sign up through that. It's a membership on my Facebook. And I have Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic. And my Facebook, if you just want free information, is Stephanie the Business, as in the body business, person. Creepy underwear guy. Some guy emailed me, Stephanie, can you send me, I will buy your underwear for you. Don't find this really weird. And I'm just like, 2017, anything can happen. Yes, the book. Be looking out for the book, guys. It's going to be explained, and I've been working really hard on it, and even some of the pages, I'm like, yeah, this is good information. Okay, guys, thank you, and I'm out. Bye. I'm out. A bite of protein, yes, with some coconut oil. Bye, guys. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm out. Thanks, guys.